just left up the road.
See that one flag was over here, but
And so, you know, those are the old stories about, you know, I still can't.
Or federal officials, officials in exile from foreign governments, officials. We ask you to stand for the Junior ROTC from Lincoln Park High School. We're proud to announce now, and we will later, that they just won the nationwide competition for ROTC in the state of Kentucky. Please welcome. For the purpose of welcoming everyone to this State of the City address in 2018, the President of the Lincoln Park Rotary, George Cretu. George, please take the podium.
I'm going to be very short here, so I just want to thank you all for coming. Really appreciate that. You know, it's always nice to see people who want to come on down and hear exactly what's going on in our schools and also in our city. As you know, Lincoln Park Rotary tries to sponsor this every year, and we try our very best to do things for our city. You know, we have been very involved, you know, with the Cinco de Mayo Family Fun Night, which, by the way, will be a week from Thursday, and we do some cleanup activity things, and also sponsor the Sports Hall of Fame, and a lot of things around the city. So we are so glad that people from the city of Lincoln Park could make it down here tonight. Now, having said that, also want to say that we want to thank Carrie Dangerfield and our mayor for the time that they have taken to put this address together. It does take time, and there are a lot of things that go into it. So, having said that, I want to show my appreciation by having been here for all that we do here in the city of Lincoln Park. You know. So, Ed, thank you.
All right, thank you. The Rotary Club is one of the many civic, fraternal, community organizations in the city of Lincoln Park, including the Exchange Club, for which our fine mayor was the national president a couple of years ago and has gone to lead on other organizations in forming these clubs in other communities nearby. They provide much of the grunt work, the groundwork, the dirty work, and the hands-on work for things that you don't even see until there's success. Like one out there right now in the audience, the new Lincoln Park City Airport, the green lights flashing on the head, Mr. Horvath there. So that's part of the Rotary Club projects here. Thank you, Mr. Horvath. He's advertising St. Patrick's Day Rotary. If you all would like to stand now, we'll avoid the unnecessary indignities of the welcome, and we welcome you to this great State of the City address for the City of Lincoln Park with the presentation of colors for the Lincoln Park High School Junior ROTC Color Guard, and please remain standing for the performing of the national anthem.
Present arms.
What
Let's thank once again the Lincoln Park High School Junior ROTC Color Guard. Please remain standing just for a moment for the invocation by the Reverend Paula Miller from St. Leonard's and All Angels Episcopalian Church on Champaign 4th Street in Lincoln Park, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Leslie Perez of the Excel Club from the Braille Excel Club from Lincoln Park High School.
Thank you so much. I vest in the orange of hunter safety today. Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, be with us tonight as we ask for your help and your hope. Keep us safe in our homes, where we gather with our loved ones and forge tighter bonds with our neighbors, making new friends. Keep us safe in our schools, where our children express the need to walk out to find safety rather than walking in. Keep us safe in our streets where we shop and travel forth and return to our homes. Give our elected officials the wisdom to lead us with justice, respecting the dignity of all people, and developing a community where all can find not only a job, but a living wage. Give our firefighters, police, and judges the courage and strength to protect us, to help those suffering from addictions, and to curb the effects of violence. Give our teachers, principals, and school staff the understanding and patience to help each student grow into his and her potential so that they can be strong leaders and effective members of our community. Give our citizens generous hearts so to enable them to give of their time and talents to help our city grow as a welcoming place where people of all races, ethnicities, ages, and genders will find a safe home. We make this prayer with the assurance that you, O God, are our hope and will continue to help us through your power to fulfill all our desires to become a city and a school district where your love, compassion, and mercy flow. Amen.
And you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Leslie Perez. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. For the remainder of the program, please place your cell phones, your Game Boys, and your defibrillators on vibrate, please, just for the remainder of the program, ladies and gentlemen. This is a dual state of the city and school purpose here, and there are many, including those of us here on stage, that had the opportunity to not only grow up in Lincoln Park, to graduate from the Lincoln Park school system, to graduate, some of us younger guys from this town, from this fine building here at Lincoln Park High School, and to go on and to stay here and serve our community for the rest of our lives, and to remain here to try to make it the place it once was and still is today. And part of that was the feeling we had when we were in this new high school building, when it was constructed on the backs and the backbones of the mothers and fathers of the automotive industry and the steel industry here in the city of Lincoln Park. And those who chose to stay, remember that Lincoln Park has always been our hometown, even when we leave and even when we come back. It is still home. It is still the hometown, Mr. Superintendent. It is really one of the earliest sanctuary cities in Southeast Michigan. It's always been home with welcoming arms to all peoples at all times. And this high school holds so many dear memories from years when the graduating class was close to 1,000 to the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 students in the entire school today. You folks have done a tremendous job in the school system of training us, all of us here, the leaders in the community, the followers, and those that choose to stay, and those that have chosen to move on to other parts of the world, carrying a piece of Lincoln Park with them. Superintendent Terry Dangerfield, it is the benefit of your educational system that we prospered, all of us, and thrived. And we thank you for that, and we look forward to welcoming you now and hearing the good news with this year's State of the School Address for the Lincoln Park School System. Superintendent Terry Dangerfield.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that. And I have to say, as someone that's been in this district for 19 years, I find no more joy than being able to meet people that grew up in Lincoln Park and walk these halls and are out there producing what I would call a proud society that we live in today. Good evening to all of you. I'd like to welcome you to the auditorium of Lincoln Park High School. This is our third annual combination of the State of the School and State of the City Address. I sincerely appreciate Mayor Tom Carnes, the City Council, the City officials, all of our platform guests, and the entire City of Lincoln Park staff for supporting this opportunity and allowing us to speak frankly about our community. I would also like to thank the Rotary Club for sponsoring this event tonight. The Lincoln Park Rotary is a very special group that works very hard for the city, and I thank you for sponsoring this event this evening. I especially would like to thank all of you that are in attendance this evening. Just your presence this evening, there's a lot of things that you could be doing, and the fact that you're here to hear about this community means the world to us and shows your passion for the city. So thank you for that. This evening, I would like to talk to you about three major areas that are affecting school districts across this country, Michigan, and specifically the Lincoln Park Public Schools. The first of those is school safety. Today marks the 1-month anniversary since the horrible tragedy that affected Parkland, Florida. I would like to ask that we all recognize a moment of silence to honor the 17 victims and their families, as well as all of those that have been affected by violence in this country. Thank you. As a result of this anniversary, many people across our great nation participated in various activities to bring attention to the senseless acts of violence that have targeted schools. This call for action should be heard by us all. Regardless of our individual beliefs on the use and possession of firearms, we are all united in our belief that schools are no place for violence. Today, our Lincoln Park High School students participated in an activity that allowed them to unite as a school and support those that were directly affected by this senseless tragedy in Parkland, Florida. Our students showed class, maturity, and pride as they assembled for a school picture that was shared in support via social media. I want to thank our students, our staff, our administration, and this community for your support of ending violence in schools. No student, no teacher, no school employee, no parent, no human should ever have to worry about their safety. Together, we can make a difference, and together we will make a difference. In Lincoln Park, we continue to work with Mayor Tom Carnes and the Lincoln Park Police Department to ensure that our buildings are safe for our students, staff, and community. We are lucky to have 2 school resource officers on our school property each and every day. Sergeant Hammerly and Officer Kerr are both very special people that have brought a valued presence to our student body. I would like to thank them both for their true commitment to our students. I would also like to thank Chief of Police Ray Waters and Assistant Chief Joe Lavis for all of their advice, discussions, and guidance as we constantly review our school safety procedures to ensure we are doing everything we can to be sure that we are as safe as we can be and that we provide the environment that we must to ensure our students the high-quality education that they so deserve. Our students, staff, administration, and community have been fantastic, absolutely fantastic, in working with us in securing our buildings and understanding the requirements that we come together in our pursuit of school safety. The next subject that I would like to talk to you about is always there for schools, and that could help us really provide a stronger and more secure environment is that of school funding. Recently, a nonprofit organization called the School Finance Research Collaborative brought together top industry experts to re-examine our approach to how we fund Michigan schools to fully prepare our students for jobs and success. This organization collaborated with the nation's 2 leading school funding research firms to complete the study. Here's what they found. The base per pupil cost to educate a regular education K-12 student in Michigan should be $9,590. Which does not include transportation, food service, or capital costs, and only includes pension costs at 4.6% of wages. To give you a translation in Lincoln Park, currently the Lincoln Park Public School District receives a per pupil of $7,631 compared to that $9,590 that's recommended. And we pay just under 40% for Michigan pension costs for each LP employee, compared to the 4.6% they used in the study. As you can see, that's a significant difference. Some more findings of that study. Charter schools should have the same base per pupil funding as a regular education student and the same adjustments to the base amount that traditional districts receive. They also found that it costs $14,155 to educate a preschool student aged 3 or 4. And that has to do with lower class size and the amount of resources that go into an early child. In addition to the base per pupil cost, a percentage of the base cost should be provided for special education students, English language learners, students living in poverty, and programs to provide a career and technical education. This makes sense as these programs cost more to operate. Transportation costs should be funded at $973 per rider until further studies can be carried out. Now, the reason for the further study is that not all riders are the same. So, for example, a student from a rural area that is on the bus for an hour is much different than a suburban rider that may ride the bus for less than 15 minutes. Next thing they found was that because Michigan school district sizes vary widely across the state and that small districts lack economic of scale, school district size must be taken into account, with funding increases provided for all districts under 7,500 students. Bob Moore, the director of the School Finance Research Collaborative, said, this is his quote, "This one-of-a-kind comprehensive report reflects the input of nearly 300 educators throughout Michigan, giving policymakers clear direction on how much it costs to educate a child and how best to reform Michigan's broken school funding system." Our school funding system in Michigan has not been touched since 1994. The report used the school adequacy study ordered and completed by the Michigan State Legislature as the catalyst for this work. The School Finance Research Collaborative finished this study as the original study had a very narrow scope of work and had left out significant factors that needed to be analyzed. Over the next several months, organizations, educators, and legislators across the state will be discussing this study and how best to utilize this in Michigan to positively affect our schools and, most importantly, the achievement outcomes for our students. Now, with all that being said, I want to note that here in Lincoln Park, we just in February were recently recognized as one of only 36 school districts out of 540 in Michigan that received a perfect score from the Munitric study. What this recognizes is school districts in this state that are fiscally sound, that are being fiscal stewards with the public's money. And 36 school districts received that in the state, Lincoln Park being one of them. So what that tells us is we're using the money as efficiently as we can, but bottom line is we're doing that on limited resources. I encourage all of you to be a part of that discussion going forward, learn more about the report and how the suggested outcomes could affect our students and, frankly, the future of Michigan. The most important part of my speech is going to happen right now. The last area that I want to discuss is that of our work in trauma and resilience here in the Lincoln Park schools. The Lincoln Park Public Schools has embarked on a multi-year plan to building a trauma-informed district called the Resilient Schools Project. This work is deeply rooted in the brain research around the negative effects that trauma can have on the human brain. I'm very proud to say that this past Sunday night, Oprah Winfrey was interviewed for a study on 60 Minutes involving trauma informed and the impacts of trauma. And I'm very pleased to say here in Lincoln Park, we've been working on this for about 3 years now and are now at a point where we're able to actually publicly announce some of the work that we've been doing. Research has shown that individuals that have been exposed to trauma as a child can affect the human brain. This includes changing our neural pathways and even changing our DNA itself. Traumatic situations can be a singular event or experienced consistently over time. The type of trauma that is consistent and over time is called prolonged chronic stress. These types of experiences have been proven to affect the overall health and performance of children and adults. Over 20 years ago, two researchers, Dr. Robert Anda and Dr. Vincent Folletti, came together to study the effects that the exposure to childhood trauma had on these individuals. What they discovered was alarming and became known as the ACEs study. The ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. The original study surveyed a group of over 17,000 individuals that were all considered to have good jobs and access to quality health care. Over 75% of that 17,000 member group were college graduates. The participants were asked about 10 different areas of childhood trauma. These include areas such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, domestic violence, substance abuse, parental separation or divorce, and an incarcerated parent or household member. Of this group of 17,000, remember 75% of them were college graduates. 28% of them reported physical abuse, 21% reported sexual abuse. Many reported experiencing a divorce or having a parent with a mental or substance disorder. 40% of the participants reported 2 or more ACEs, and 12.5% reported 4 or more ACEs. As researchers followed participants over time, they discovered that a person's cumulative ACEs score has a strong graded relationship to numerous health, social, and behavioral problems throughout their lifespan, including substance use disorders. The number of ACEs was strongly associated with adulthood high-risk health behaviors such as smoking, alcohol, and drug use, promiscuity, and severe obesity, and correlated with ill health, including depression, heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, and short lifespan. Compared to an ACE score of 0, having 4 adverse childhood experiences was associated with a 7-fold, that's 700% increase in alcoholism, a doubling of risk of being diagnosed with cancer, and a 4-fold increase in emphysema. An ACE score above 6 was associated with a 30-fold, that's 3,000% increase in attempted suicide. The ACE study's results suggest that maltreatment and household dysfunction in childhood contributes to health problems decades later. These include chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes. These are the most common causes of death and disability in the United States. The study's findings were relating to a specific population within the United States, might reasonably be assumed to reflect that similar trends in other parts of the world, and that's according to the World Health Organization. So they feel this is not just an American issue. This was staggering considering the background of the group surveyed. Remember, there were 17,000 people, 75% of them college educated, all of them having access to quality health care. They were, by all accounts, successful, employed, educated people. The simple fact is that what happens to us as a child matters. If a person is exposed to traumatic experiences as a child, it affects their ability to do anything and everything as an adult. It literally changes the neural pathways in the brain. With all of that said, there is good news. These experiences do not have to define a person. Brain research has also shown us that a person can overcome this adversity through a thing called resilience. Research has shown that people, even with a significant amount of ACEs, can almost eliminate the negative effect on the brain by having a positive relationship in their life that can supply resilience. I am proud to say that the Lincoln Park Public Schools recognizes this, and we have made a major investment into making sure our districts are what is called trauma-informed and resilient focused. As I mentioned, we are calling this the Resilient Schools Project. We are committed to environments that support the whole child by meeting their social and emotional needs first. This program and this environment is not only for those students that have experienced trauma, but literally every child. By providing an environment that is built upon trauma-informed strategies and ensuring that there are plenty of positive opportunities for resilience, we will meet the social and emotional needs of our students, and as a result, ensure that they are properly prepared to engage in the rigorous, high-quality instructional plan that we have developed. This is hard work, but it's work that is worth doing. As a result of these efforts, I am pleased to share that our early returns are very, very promising. As we stand here today, the Lincoln Park Public Schools are stronger academically than we were 2 years ago. This isn't just me saying this. This is proven in our data based on the state assessment, what we call in Michigan an MSTEP. Additionally, we are above state average in graduation rate, student attendance at almost every level, performance of English language learners, and academic growth of our students in comparison to our peers. Lincoln Park is not a low-performing school district. The Lincoln Park Public Schools are financially stable, we have a solid enrollment base, and we are improving academically each year. We have quality facilities, and we are centered on providing all of our students a trauma-informed, resilient-focused environment that meets their social-emotional needs. We are doing it the right way. We are doing this with a central focus on our students. We have a philosophy here in Lincoln Park that we talk to the staff about all the time, which is called Your Kid Test. Is this good enough for your kid? Is this the kind of environment you would want your kid in? Are you the kind of teacher that you would want to have your child have? Are you the kind of principal that you would want your child to have? And every decision we make is based on this. Would this be good for my kid? And if it's good for my kid, then it's good for our kids here in Lincoln Park. They are not our only district's most prized possession, the students I'm talking about. They are the bright light for the future that we will all be a part of. They are gifted, amazing, and inspiring young men and women that we should all be focused on, encouraging, and supporting. I am incredibly proud of Lincoln Park Public Schools. We have a wonderful Board of Education that supports and believes in our students and staff. They work tirelessly to ensure that I and the entire administration team have what we need to do our jobs. And most importantly, they make sure that we do our jobs. We have administration that is second to none. They work enormous hours to make sure that every student and staff member gets what they need when they need it. Next, we have our staff and faculty members, one of them being Mr. Tom Carnes. The true heart and dedication that our staff members on a daily basis is nothing less than inspiring. Last but not least, I want to recognize our labor unions. In the Lincoln Park Public Schools, we have 3 unions that we work with consistently and constantly. I am proud of the leadership the LPEA, the LPAA, and Local 849 show and give us every single day. Their dedication to ensuring a quality work environment is greatly appreciated. Together, we are strong, and together, we are being successful. Being a rail splitter means something. It means toughness, it means care, and it means hope. Thank you all for supporting the rail splitters, and thank you all for being rail splitters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent Dangerfield. We're going to this time to introduce from my right, and in order from your left, those you have not been introduced to, and those seated up here on stage, starting with Councilman Chris Dardzinski, Reverend Kara Hildebrand, and of course, Reverend Paula Miller. Just met the superintendent. You're going to hear from the mayor in a couple of minutes. Our state representative, Kara Clemente, thank you for joining us. Reminding Lansing, of course, that revenue sharing are the 2 most important words we could ever hear this year. City Clerk, forever Donna Breeden. Councilman Larry Kelsey, and Chief Judge of the 25th District Court, Greg Clifton. Thank you all. Lincoln Park has been the hometown for many people who've gone on to excel and exceed in careers across the nation, and you hear oftentimes of the many great rock legends that started, originated, or once lived in Lincoln Park. Of course, the MC5, Bob Seger, members of Grand Funk Railroad, and of course, the man running the sound and performing that great band with the national anthem, Paul Knapp, up in the top. Paul, thank you. Mayor Guitar continued to wail. Paul has been doing this for us for years. For those of you that are appointed officials, the city manager, all of you out there, thank you for joining us too and continuing your support for this community. In mentioning the hometown here, it's important to note that there have been dramatic changes in the last couple of years, dramatic strides made with an innovative police department, with a responsive fire department, with the Department of Public Services that gets out to patch the holes all over and has to tell the state, we need you here to let us fix up your leak on 4th Street. To the great employees at City Hall, to the great employees of the school district, all forming together one great community. That's our hometown. And one of our great hometown friends and a resident for his entire life is here to speak to you next about the state of the city for 2018. Please welcome Mayor Tom Carnes.
Hi, Mike. Thank you, Ed. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's almost like we're having a personal conversation, but that would be fine. An event like this takes a lot to put on, and I want to thank the Rotary Club and not more important, but maybe so, but the folks that were working in the city manager's office and finance. Everybody was kicking in to get this done, as far as the nice display that you saw when you're coming in and the slideshow presentation that's been going on behind me. It takes a lot of effort to make this appear professional, make us look good, and they did a great job for us. Now, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. There are a lot of places that you could be, as Terry mentioned, but you chose to be here with us tonight, and I appreciate that. And thank you to also the Rotary Club, which is, as you know, is Lincoln Park's Junior Service Club, for sponsoring the event. Rotary has been in existence in the city of Lincoln Park since 1946, I believe. So that's 72 years and counting of service to our town. So please, for the Rotary Club, if you don't mind giving a round of applause. Before I go any further on this, I want to draw attention to someone who is enjoying a milestone year this year. And that's our city clerk, who is celebrating 25 years of service to the city as clerk, 10 years working in the clerk's office, and I believe 10 years as a meter maid. So I'll let you guys do the math, but please, Donna Breeden. Now, the colors were done by a group of young men and women of the Junior ROTC. I have the privilege of watching them each morning practicing. They come, they raise the flag in front of the board office and out in front of the high school here. And they do an exceptional job for us. And this past year, as Ed mentioned, they won first prize for the Honor Guard. The Honor Guard that you saw here was the best in the region. And that is saying something here. Because as they said when they came back from this event, is Michigan never wins here. Michigan never wins. But they came and they did a fine job. So please extend my applause to them. That group is led by Sergeant Major Menzies and Sergeant Fuhardi, and they do an excellent job for us. I want to acknowledge another group that is here to assist us. You met Leslie. She is the president of the Excel Rail Splitter Club in Lincoln Park. This organization was the first of its kind in the state of Michigan through exchange, and one of the first. They will be celebrating their 5th anniversary, which is quite a milestone here because the Excel clubs, due to the graduation and everything, they don't last long. But these guys, particularly the two ladies that are in the audience here, made sure that the club would be strong, and they built it all on their own. But I want to extend my thanks to them, and please show your appreciation for their job. In my time as mayor, 4+ years, it's really went by pretty quick. We've had a good relationship with the schools, the school board, and with the district. It was my personal goal to make that relationship happen, to work hand in hand, because in order to have a strong city, you need to have a strong district, and vice versa. And you cannot do one without the other. Unfortunately, as you just heard from Terry Dangerfield about how well our school is doing. 36, you said? Yeah. Out of how many? Out of 500, out of 540. It shows that it's exceptional. They made mention of the kids at school. I've been there for 3 years. And I can tell the difference. But it's great to be back at the high school again. And it seems like it's only been a few hours since I left. Actually, it is. For the past 3 years, I've done a different thing in my life. A little challenge for me is to come back as a substitute teacher and what's called an intervention specialist. I've learned due respect and admiration for the work that teachers, administrators, and intervention folks do on a daily basis. You do not realize the depth of their dedication to the students until you see it day to day. I've also learned humility, as nothing can bring you back to earth as a class of 9th graders can. One thing that I never thought in my time of going to school here, I graduated in '76, was that someone may be coming in to shoot up the school. Now, a terrifying thought that had occurred several times it's a terrifying thought that has occurred several times, the most recent being at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. In that atmosphere, perceived threatening statements can take a life of their own on Facebook and other social media. At Lincoln Park High School, Principal Mercer reviewed and tightened security where needed, reviewed and initiated training of teachers and staff, and more importantly, he reached out to all of the students through a calming video. This afternoon, the school faced another dilemma, as Terry mentioned. The encouraged walkout of students for 17 minutes, 1 minute for each of the victims of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Mr. Mercer again went to the video to reach out to the students with plans for their safety. The high school and middle schools were also aided by the addition of their resource officers. I cannot say enough about Sergeant Hammerly and Officer Kerr. I've only seen Officer Kerr in action at the middle school once or twice, but I have the privilege of seeing Sergeant Hammerly on a daily basis. his relationship with the kids and with all of the staff and everyone there is just a pleasure to behold. I take this because when there is a circumstance that requires police presence there, he is there immediately. And not only that, but he has a police radio too, so he can reach out to help and get it there as fast as possible, and particularly rescues and that nature. I think that is a great thing for the school district to bring them back, and I personally have been able to see the impact that they've made at our high school. The City of Lincoln Park had a momentous day on July 28, 2017. That is the day the State Treasurer signed the order releasing the city from receivership, transition advisory board, and returned us to local control. That ended a nightmare that had begun several years before when the mayor and council invited the state in to review the city finances. It led through the odyssey of probable financial emergency, consent agreement, rejected the consent agreement, emergency management, and then back to the RTAB. Now, the city has come out of the RTAB sooner than was expected. And this primary cause for this was the best thing that actually came out of our emergency management financial crisis was the efforts of our city manager, Matt Copper. Back to basics approach brought the city back to line. Everything was examined with an eye of making things better. I'm just going to cover some of the things that have been done over the past year. We added $449,000 to the general fund balance, bringing it to $3.9 million. If you remember 4 years back, we were at a negative $700,000 in this effort, so that is quite a deal. And in our process of working with the state, we were expected to get up to this level in 10 years. Now, we received info this week that the value of our pensions have increased. For the police and fire is 20% funded and MERS is 19% funded. Now, where this may seem to be not where you want to be, and it isn't, it is a tremendous increase from what we've had before. And again, it's been Mr. Copper working with the pension boards. We have done what was necessary in order to make it work. And it was done through all of our contract negotiations, which all of the contracts in the city have been negotiated and settled. Doesn't mean that they went to arbitration. It doesn't mean that they went out and they were fighting against it. They were amicably settled, which means a lot. There's a lot of work that went into that. The contracts call for wage increases, increase of employee shares of pension costs, and reduction in healthcare costs. We've also done new IT, company has been selected that saves money while improving the deployment of technology. Now, for quality of life improvements, we have completed our 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan. We began a revision of the Comprehensive Master Plan. We ended our association with Safe Build that was brought in through the emergency manager and revamped operations in the building department. We now have a city employee that is appointed by mayor and council to look over and to be in charge of the department, oversee, and we brought in McKenna, who is to operate it. This will bring accountability and stability to the department. Our construction value of permits, people come in and get permits for work, is at $8.8 million, which is up over $1 million from the previous year. We've conducted tax reverted property sales, resulting in a minimum of reinvestment of $300,000 in 20 homes, plus we recouped all the taxes owed. We increased the penalties for not registering rentals, not getting a building permit, and not registering vacant properties. We decreased the cost of plan reviews and sidewalk replacement costs for citizens. And most recently, we just approved what's called the RAP program. Now, for those of you that don't know what the RAP program is, if you qualify as per your income, you will be able to receive help on your water bill. You will also be able to have needed repairs come in. So I think that is a great program. We worked with the 25th District Court to streamline the building of the ordinance complaint process. and increase the days set aside for hearing these complaints from 1 day per month to 4 days. We partnered with the City of Melvindale to offer reciprocal rates for recreation programs and the use of recreation facilities. So where we no longer have a pool, our citizens now have the option and the ability to be able to go there and take care of business. Swimming, I mean. In this past year, it may have been a year and a half ago, there was a discussion on what was going to happen to the community center. Our tenant that was there, that was running the center, had pulled out, and things looked dim for that. But Dennis Anderson, who is the director there, had an idea that he wanted to run and thought that he could make it work. And I have to say that he has made that work. The ice rentals were up. There were a couple of tournaments that have been hosted over there, and they now have a skate sharper, a smart skate sharper, which is fully automatic and is the only one down the river. So people come all over just to use that sharper here. Now this year, in the summer, well, I think it might actually be in December, there is going to be a Guinness Book of World Record attempt at the largest tournament ever. And Lincoln Park will be hosting teams coming in there, and hopefully they will be able to break that record. As far as reinvesting in our infrastructure, building, and equipment, $2.1 million invested in road repair and reconstruction. A Hazel Bridge has been replaced. We began a crack sealing and sidewalk repair program to save, well, not the sidewalk repair, but the sealing program was to save the condition of the roads so that they did not deteriorate further. We conducted the first road assessment for the first time in 5 years. We began a review of sanitary and storm sewer systems that would identify water inflow and infiltration into the sanitary system as well as areas of deteriorated pipes. We completed the water system reliability study. And the police department has had their roof replaced as well as the heating and air conditioning. And we've, at the DPS, brought in a semi-tractor, water repair truck, and sewer vac for the DPS. As far as citizen outreach, we have a brand new website. Those of you that have not seen it, please take advantage of it, come look, because there are many different new items that are there, and it's very easy to use. We've increased our social media presence by updating the city's YouTube channel, new LinkedIn page, and more use of Twitter and Facebook. A person responsible for that is our James Gallagher, who is the city manager assistant, not city manager assistant, administrative assistant. And we've upgraded to LPTV to HD. I'm sure that you appreciate councilmen and myself up there in high definition, but I think it was requested before. And more importantly, we increased staff in the City Hall operations, just customer service and water and treasury. We now have some construction that has come to town. My favorite project that we talked about, and Councilman Kelsey has information about that too as a retired Ford person, but the Ford Motor Company is reinvesting between $12 and $14 million in the Outer Drive facility. Those of you that may be aware, it used to be a glass plant. But this will become a training facility for workers throughout the country. I think 250 people will be coming in at different times for a 5-week training process. And this will bring them, they will be staying in our general area, eating in our general area, so that will be great for us. There will also be a very impressive facade facing Outer Drive. If you go by the building today, you would not think that, but it's going to be something that I think will attract other development into that area. The Downtown Development Authority has a program that's called Facade Grant. And what this program does is it allows for a certain amount of money to be refunded on projects to improve the fronts of their building. Now, BC Pizza and the Park Restaurant and the Masonic Temple have utilized these grants, and I encourage you to go by and take a look. The Park Restaurant and BC's Pizza is truly a great addition to our downtown. If you've been traveling in Lincoln Park at all for the past year and a half, you may notice that things get backed up a little bit as you go south on 4th Street.
May have.
To take advantage of this, we have initiated a marketing initiative that is called Detour LP. And this is to get hold of the people that are traveling through our town for them to visit businesses as they go through. If you look at, if you do a search for Detour LP, you'll get more information on that. Now we have some familiar names that are coming to Lincoln Park. We have a Sonic restaurant that will be breaking ground very shortly, Papa John's, and then a new Taco Bell. And a new name for a new business is coming. It's called Lincoln Perk. And this is a drive-through, used to be a drive-through bank, but now it's going to be a drive-through coffee shop. So we're very interested on how that is going to turn out. The past year, we lost a great man that was dedicated to Lincoln Park, Mario DeSanto. Mario had been on council for over 15 years and served the city for many more years than that. The man knew his concrete. I can definitely say that. And his voice is missed. Now, Mario's passing left an opening on the council that could not be immediately filled as we didn't have a candidate in waiting. An election had been scheduled with 4 first-time candidates, people that have not run before, are vying for the seat. And we also took as a council, have submitted a charter amendment that would take care of this problem or this situation if it ever arose again, with no one being on no one waiting in the wings to be a council person. We lost another resident this year, but not due to death. This loss was due to deportation. No matter what your views are on immigration, it's tough to see a family ripped apart. To aid families in this situation, we've reached out to an attorney who specializes in defending immigration cases. She is putting together a resource guide on how to seek help that will be put on our website and LPTV. Our goal is to help them get in touch with people that can help them, that can do that. It's no good living in fear or living that you're going to be sent away from your families here. I know legalities aside, people should get all the help that they're entitled to, and we're going to work to see that happens. The police department is led by Chief Waters, as those of you know. The police department now is up to 47 officers, or I think that we have accrued 47 positions. I don't know if we're completely up to that. But this is an increase, I think, of 7 in the past years. And the officers are doing a great job for their work. I can't say enough of what they do. Now, Sergeant Mueller has done a fantastic job with the community policing. Those of you that have attended the Cops Care Picnic, in which 100 backpacks were given away in September, the Shop of the Hero program, in which Myers and Target has given funds for that the children can have at Christmas, and they get the shop of the police office at the same time. And I want to mention the blood drives. The community policing blood drive started in 1994. It has to be the longest running blood drive continually operated in the state of Michigan, and pretty close to the country. Memorial Day and Labor Day each year has been bracketed, and Chief Waters has kept that tradition going with this, and has done a great job with that. Of interest is the department started a new program named Extra Eyes in 2017. This is a database of businesses and residents that have video cameras equipment or digital camera equipment that are monitoring. So if a circumstance happens in that general area, they know that they will be able to go there and get this video and be able to help in the solving of the crime. Homes that have these and businesses that have these have the Extra Eyes window sticker. Over this past year, and really before that, there's been concern from both the fire and police departments over the rise of heroin overdoses in Springfield City. To the point where it's been reported as epidemic. The fire department and now the police department have life-saving antidote Narcan that can revive a person who has overdosed. I want to draw attention to 25th District Judge Clifton, who have seen families that have come in from the narcotics and seen what the effects of the addiction has had and how lives have been ruined. And he has spearheaded an event, a response to attack. Judge Clifton organized a presentation on the dangers that took place right here. And then he organized a local chapter of the Families Against Narcotics, or FAN group, in Lincoln Park, and brought the message to each and every student in the middle and high schools through 4 assemblies. Now, I've been at the high school, as I said, for 3 years, and you never have a point where no one is talking, really. But at these assemblies, you could hear a pin drop as the message was passed forward by the people who have lived through addiction and were passing the message on for those kids not to go in those circumstances. So I would ask all of you, for his efforts, to please give Judge Clifton a round of applause. It truly must be a labor of love for him, because he has spent hundreds of hours on this, folks, and he is a busy man to begin with, so he knows the importance of it. So good job. And speaking of the 25th District Court, headed in LP with Judges Clifton and Zelnick, have efficiently handled all cases from Lincoln Park, New Course, and Rouge in cramped quarters, and efforts are underway to explore a new court building. Now, through the court, we mentioned that we were coming out of some financial difficulties with the city, but a major player in this has been the court, and returning over what was budgeted for this. And credit has to go for the police department for initiating the tickets and such, but the court has returned to us pretty close to double what was expected, and all with a short staff and over there in crowded quarters. We will be looking, there is a committee that is put together that is looking at a new court building, or the process for having a new court, hopefully somewhere in the city of Lincoln Park. That's where it makes most sense, Greg. There are things to look forward to in the coming year. Emmons Avenue will be resurfaced from 4th Street to east city limits. Everyone in Lincoln Park is probably aware that the building at the Sears Plaza is coming down. This opens the way for potential redevelopment. The company that owns the plaza could have sat on that for a period of time. They own it outright. But they have chosen to invest over $1 million in taking the buildings down, with the idea of opening that up to further development. So that will be an exciting thing that will be happening. The revitalization of the Lincoln Park Plaza, we have new owners down there that have been working diligently with our building department to get that to the point where it's full up again. We have a new roof coming from the Senior Center in the band shell, And a project that's near and dear to my heart is we have simple recycling. Simple recycling is, as it says, if you have some old shoes that you want to get rid of, if you have old pants, belts, purses, hats, ties, you can put it in the bag that we will give you on your trash day, and they will haul it away. The city will get a penny for each pound that was brought in, but more importantly, we will not have the amount of trash going to our landfill, which I think is a pretty decent thing. You would think that this would take away from the Purple Heart and the Salvation Army, places where people donate. We encourage people to still donate at those spots, but if you have something that's not worthy of being donated, then we will take care of it that way. Speaking of recycling, it's my goal to have recycling return to the city of Lincoln Park as part of our new trash bid that is going to be happening this spring, I believe. It's important for us to do that, to one, keep it out of lower our prices that we have at the Riverview landfill. But it's the right thing to do. Coming soon, also, we will have additional manpower for DPS to go out more road repair and beginning monthly sweeping streets. We have a new apartment complex that's coming to the River's Edge apartment on Outer Drive. And this is a group that is part of a pilot program in conjunction with the Turning Point Lighthouse on Fort and O'Connor, to where people of slightly diminished capacity will have a place to live. Now, there are several things to be grateful for in the city of Lincoln Park. First and foremost, all of our employees. When we went through this process of having pensions readjusted, health care done, there were pay cuts. There was a difficult time to work in the city of Lincoln Park. But all of our employees stayed with it and still did the hard work. They did not scoff. The officers continued to write tickets. Our firefighters continued to go to the fires and such. You just had to thank them for the fine job that they did. Then we have also all of you folks. You put up with the potholes on the roads and the long list to get your trees taken down. But we're getting there to where we'll be able to help you out also. Thank you for your efforts. I'm also thankful for the band show, Art in the Park, Jack Frost Jamboree, Thursday concerts, Lincoln Park Days, Fantasyland, senior programs, Historic Museum, Library, our parks, our Cinco de Mayo celebration, Farmers Market, Goodfellas, Festival on Ice, Memorial Day Parade, First Step, Turning Point Clubhouse, Community Care Services, our Lincoln Park Ministerial Association, and all of our commissions and corporations and those who serve on them. Now, as I was going through this, I skipped over our fire department. It's not done intentionally, Chief Martin. It's just something that happened. I want to make an announcement today that through the Distressed Cities Grant, that the city will be receiving a new fire truck, a pumper. The city was awarded $420,000 of the $600,000 cost. And I hear tell that we have the money for the remainder of that truck. So it'll be put to good use. Another program that the fire department is doing inspections of businesses for fire safety causes. Probably eight firefighters were trained to go in and to conduct these inspections in businesses. And as we speak of today, they are approximately halfway through this. The purpose of this and the main reason to have this done is so that we do not lose these businesses to fire. We do not lose lives in the process of doing this. A few weeks ago, Our daughter surprised my wife and I with the announcement that come September, we will be first-time grandparents. That announcement filled us, as you can imagine, with great joy and excitement. Anyone who's seen the Facebook post can attest to that. My wife gets just a little bit excited. A new life beginning and the thrill of what will come. This young family will start in Lincoln Park as my parents did in 1951. The Lincoln Park of 67 years ago did not have the major shopping centers or I-75 cutting through. It was an attractive and affordable location with a growing school system that young people flocked to. The city was a bustle of opportunity and activity. I see similarities with that Lincoln Park and the Lincoln Park today. Our housing is affordable for young families starting out, as my daughter can attest. Our taxes are the lowest in downriver and the surrounding area. As you have heard earlier, we have a great school system. The thing that makes us strong, that made us strong in 1951, are there for us again in 2018, including some that makes us stronger. We have gone through the test of adversity, and we came out on the other side here stronger. As in 1951, there are many opportunities for business and retail growth. It is a great place to raise a family. We are the crossroads of downriver, seconds from 3 major freeways, minutes from downtown Detroit, right in the middle of it all. We have had some tough times behind us, but we are on the right track and picking up steam. We are 3 years away from celebrating our 100th birthday. I'm excited about the thought of what we will and what we can be at that time. Thank you. And head back up here, please.
Thank you, Mayor Carnes. Did you mention about Bill or not?
I did not.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an important announcement for those of you who care. And those of you who went to high school here probably will delight in knowing that there is still a purpose for print publication out there today. And we are proud to announce that a Lincoln Park High School grad, a distinguished alum, is class of 1977, graduating with Tom Carnes and a lesser Zelmanek, who's now a rich car dealer, but and a horrible musician. But nonetheless, class of 1977 has just been appointed the editor-in-chief of Mad Magazine. He's moved the publication out to the West Coast. Let's have a round of applause for Lincoln Park alum Bill Morrison, a true rail splitter that continues the spirit of humor and innovation that started in this great town when he was a young man, and he's Tom Carnes' best friend, so it's appropriate to know that. So I would look for little subtle references to the city of Lincoln Park in the magazine. The first edition will be on the newsstands and some old stands on April 1st. Ladies and gentlemen, and we have a new hashtag for the city. It's hashtag #WhatMeWorry. So we are very happy for what Bill has done for us here to move the city of Lincoln Park into the forefront of national humor. I think that's probably good enough for me for closing remarks. I know benediction. I know about that. I've already been to confession with the other reverends. So please welcome, for the purpose of benediction here today, do we still have the ROTC here, or have they departed? They've left us. So there will be no retiring of the colors. There'll be your retirement, ladies and gentlemen, just to hope and just to join us. And please join great groups like the Rotary. A round of applause for the Rotary and for all of our sponsors tonight. Lincoln Park High School, Lincoln Park School District, the ROTC Color Guard, the Excel Club, and all you wonderful volunteers who have joined us here this evening. And there will be cake served outside and spiked coffee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Reverend Hillebrand, please join us in benediction. Please stand, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us boldly go from this place, encouraged that we can bring hope, that all of us have the ability to do good and to bring about good in our community, to say to one another, we can have a thriving place to live, that we can be a place of justice, and that this can be a place where good things happen for all people. Now may the God of courage, the God of justice, and the God of love go with us now, today, and forevermore.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Reminder that this is a two-day festival holiday weekend with St. Patrick's Day bookended by St. Joseph's Day. And of course, Tom and I know that Sunday is St. Edward's Day, the patron saint of Scotch. So thank you all. Have a safe trip home. Enjoy the coffee and the cake, ladies and gentlemen.